Welcome. This is the Senior Safety Advice Podcast, and we are so glad that you've made it to a calmer corner of your day. Here, we focus on real solutions, practical help, and the kind of encouragement we could all use a little more of. So let's get to it.
Hey there, and welcome back to the Senior Safety Advice Podcast. This month, I've been talking a lot about bath safety and home organization. Covered why bathrooms are such a high-risk area and how clutter quietly increases fall risk, and how small changes throughout the home can make everyday routines feel safer and less stressful. So today, I want to end the month by pulling all of that together. Because when it comes to safety, it's not always the big projects that bring peace of mind. It's the small fixes, the simple changes, the things that quietly remove worry and help you breathe just a little bit easier in your own home. I'm Esther Kane, a retired occupational therapist and currently a certified aging in place specialist. And my goal here is to help you live as long as possible for as safely as possible and independently as possible in your home, wherever that may be. It may be the home that you've lived in for many years, or it may be a smaller home that you moved to for ease of access and just ease of maintenance. Wherever that is, I want you to be safe and independent. All right. So today we're going to talk about small fixes and big peace of mind. And this is actually one of my favorite conversations to have. My friends will tell you I talk about it more than probably they want to hear. But my goal is to make them safe and keep them as friends for as long as possible. Most people think peace of mind comes from really big changes, big renovations or big decisions or big expenses. But what I've seen over and over again is actually the opposite. Peace of mind usually comes from the small stuff, the tiny fixes that quietly remove worry, the little changes that stop you from holding your breath, and the things that you don't think about anymore because, they finally work. And here's the truth that most families don't realize. It's not usually one big safety issue that causes the most stress. It's 100 tiny ones. The loose rug in the bedroom, the dark hallway down to, from the front door, the wobbly step up, from the garage, the cabinet door in the kitchen that's constantly sticking, the light switch that's just a little too far. Each one on its own feels minor, but together they can create a lot of tension. I always tell my contractor, it's just the little things that add up that make the project annoying. That low-level worry that never quite goes away. And that's usually when I hear things like, I'm always on edge, or I keep thinking, what if something happens? Or I don't feel relaxed when they're home alone. From families when they have older parents. Now, I've seen this with seniors themselves, and I've seen it with adult children. And honestly, that constant background stress can really take a toll. So let's talk about how small fixes really do lead to big peace of mind. One of the biggest stress reducers that I see is eliminating the almost moments. The ones like almost slipping or almost tripping or almost falling. Those moments stay in your body and in your mind, even if you don't think they do. Even if nothing happens, if you recovered from it quickly, your brain remembers and it starts anticipating danger. That's why fixing that loose rug or adding a strip of non-slip tape can change how safe someone feels in their own home. I've watched people relax instantly because it's one less little worry out of mind. Their shoulders drop, their movements slow down, and they stop hovering over every step, especially if it's something about falling. Another thing that brings huge peace of mind is better lighting. A lot of people don't think about lighting, but as you get older, you don't realize how much more lighting you really need. This is so underestimated, even from a lot of aging in place specialists. So that's why a lot of courses emphasize lighting. Poor lighting creates uncertainty, and uncertainty breeds fear. When you can't clearly see where you're stepping or what's ahead of you, your body stays tense. You may not even realize it. You may not realize that when you finally get to your favorite recliner and you sit down, that your shoulders are all tensed up. Well, why are they tensed up? Because it wasn't that easy to get to your recliner. So adding a simple lamp, a motion sensor nightlight, or more than just one, a brighter bulb can completely change how that space feels. I've had people say things like, I didn't realize how much that was stressing me out until we fixed it. Or, wow, I didn't realize how low the light was until I got a new light. That happens a lot. And here's where this really matters. A peace of mind isn't just emotional. It's also physical. When people feel safer, they tend to move better. They tend to think clearer. And actually, they tend to sleep better. I've seen older adults who stopped going to the bathroom at night just because the hallway felt scary. And that's not a good thing. One small nightlight later, problem solved. No big renovation, no major expense, just a little gadget that resulted in less fear. Now, another small fix that makes a huge difference is just making things easier to reach. When everyday items are too high or too low, people start making risky choices, standing on chairs or reaching too far, twisting awkwardly, all for something that could be fixed very easily. Moving just a few items into easy reach can prevent so many accidents. And I've seen the relief on people's faces when they realize, oh, I don't have to do that anymore. That's peace of mind. Then there's the power of things working the way they're supposed to. Now, I know a lot of us have appliances and gadgets, and now with so many computer gadgets, they're great when they work, but horrible when they don't. So I get it. You don't always have control over everything. But there are some things you can control. Things like sticky doors or sticky cabinet drawers or loose railings or drawers and, cabinet doors that jam or anything else that just makes it so much harder to use. These kinds of things create frustration. And frustration leads to rushing, and rushing leads to mistakes. Fixing a door that finally opens smoothly or tightening a handrail that no longer wiggles, these things seem really small, but it removes that hesitation, it restores that confidence. And I've had clients tell me, well, I didn't realize how much I avoided that area until it really felt safe again. Well, yeah. That avoidance can be really sneaky. People don't always say it out loud, or they may not even think it out loud, but their world slowly gets smaller because they avoid a certain area, they avoid going out more, they avoid, like I said before, going to the bathroom at night. All of these small events can really add up and just make your little world smaller. Small fixes can help stop a lot of this from happening, and they're not expensive. Another thing that families don't always think about is reducing decision fatigue. When safety isn't reliable, then people have to constantly think, where do I step? Where do I hold on? Should I hold on? Is this safe? That mental load can be exhausting. When the environment is safer, the brain can relax, and that's when peace of mind shows up. Now, I know that as we get older, oftentimes, it is important to stop and think before you take the next step or the next action, because when you do things in a rush, that's when you can easily cut yourself. That's when you can easily trip over something, and that's when you can easily injure yourself. But at the same time, there's a lot of that, or there's at least some of that you can reduce by making the area safer. It's not as exciting, as doing a whole renovation, I know, but it's these little things that can make the environment safer. It's calm. It brings in calmness. And honestly, I think calm is very underrated. I've seen huge peace of mind come from clear communication about what needs to be done, how to do it, and setting up systems to do them. I mean, everything like simple notes and labels and visual cues can be very helpful for all of us. Knowing where things are, knowing what's safe to use, and knowing what's been checked and fixed. It really removes the guesswork, and guesswork causes anxiety. My father-in-law used to, once a week, spend an evening sharpening all the knives in the kitchen. And he did that because my mom-in-law cooked dinner and breakfast every single day. So he wanted to make sure that the knives were sharp enough for her so that it was easy to cut carrots and vegetables and tomatoes and whatever she was cutting. She was very careful about using those knives, but they were always sharp, because a dull knife, you tend to have to press more or push more or use in a different way, and that can easily cause a cut. But this was something that he did to remove that anxiety of, is she going to cut herself while she's cooking? So once a week, he would take out his knife sharpener and he would spend an hour or so just sharpening all the knives. Little things like that can make your home safer. Here's something important that I want to say out loud. Small fixes are not a sign of decline. So many older adults look at these things as a sign of decline, but it's not true. It's a sign of keeping your independence. These are signs of wisdom. They say, hey, I care about my safety. I want my home to support me, and I'm planning ahead. That's empowering. That's something you should honestly do your entire life, not just when you get older. I've watched entire families breathe easier when they realize, hey, we don't have to fix everything today. We just have to fix one thing. Another thing tomorrow, another thing next week. One thing at a time. Because every small fix is one less worry, one less what if. And believe me, those really add up. So if you're feeling overwhelmed or anxious or unsure where to start, just start small. One drawer at a time, one corner at a time. Pick the thing that bothers you the most, that is the most unsafe, the thing you keep thinking about, and fix that first. It could be that wobbly handrail. It could be those slippery steps, whatever it is. And then notice, take a little time, a day or two, to notice how it feels. Don't you feel better that thing is fixed? Peace of mind often arrives quietly, not with fireworks, but with a deep breath. Well, that's all I have for today and for the end of January 2026. Thank you again for being here with me. If today's episode gave you some useful insights or new ideas, then please share it with someone who might find it helpful as well. You can discover even more expert tips and helpful guides for seniors and caregivers right here at seniorsafetyadvice.com. And if you're searching for an Aging in Place specialist, visit our website at aginginplacedirectory.com. Come back tomorrow for more useful tips, insights, and ideas right here on the Senior Safety Advice Podcast. And hey, if you haven't yet subscribed to our YouTube channel or the podcast yet, please go ahead and do that right now, because that really helps us reach more people who could use this kind of support and information. So until next time, take care of yourself and the ones that you love.
This podcast is part of our mission to help older adults live safely and independently. If you'd like to take the next step, visit aginginplacedirectory.com, where you'll find specialists, helpful resources, and inspiration to make every home your place to thrive.